Hello and welcome, or welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. Today is September 7th, and I'm going to give a poetry reading. To start with, just to give you some context, let me read a letter that Heather Cox Richardson wrote yesterday, September 6th. I found it in my inbox this morning. I won't read the whole thing, but I will read a portion of it. Today, the social media account of President Donald J. Trump posted an AI-generated image of Trump as if he were Lieutenant Colonel Bill Kilgore from the 1979 film Apocalypse Now, in front of the Chicago skyline with military helicopters and flames and the caption, "Chip-ocalypse Now." Kilgore loved the war in Vietnam in which he was engaged. His most famous line was, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Over the image, Trump's social media post read, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning." Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. The words were followed by 3 helicopter emojis, symbols the right wing uses to represent former Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet's goons, disappearing political opponents by pushing them out of helicopters. Although it has become trite to speculate about what Republicans would say if a Democratic president engaged in the behavior Trump exhibits daily, this open attack of the president on an American city is a new level of unhinged. Mehdi Hasan of Zeteo wrote, "The President of the United States just declared war, actual military war, not a metaphorical one, on a major American city, and one governed by his political opponents." He added accurately, "In any other period, this would be impeachment worthy." Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker called attention to the gravity of Trump's post. "The President of the United States is threatening to go to war with an American city. This is not a joke. This is not normal. Donald Trump isn't a strong man, he's a scared man. Illinois won't be intimidated by a wannabe dictator." Under the words, "Know your rights, Illinois," and "Stay safe and stay informed," the governor's social media account posted information about Americans' rights in both English and Spanish. The piece goes on a bit. I will put a link to it in the description box. So I think the name that President Trump is using to designate his planned military operation here in Chicago, the name Chip-ocalypse, is fairly suitable because we all know Donald Trump carries a big chip on his shoulder. And just let me speak as a Chicagoan, I don't think that the chip will be staying there. It will slip off. So I'm going to read poems from my book Against Fascism. You can get this at lulu.com. And I will start with some poems specifically dealing with President Trump, but I will branch out from there. This one is titled "Turd, Rapist, Ugly, Moron, Pig." Turd, rapist, ugly, moron, pig. He is the president. I never saw a lie so big, so smeared in excrement. With tiny hand, his Sharpie signs each weird executive order, a puzzlement to sharper minds, this side sanity's border. What does the pussy groper mean who wears his diapers brown? He never was quite on the bean. The answer is unknown. Turd, rapist, ugly, moron, pig. You know just who is meant. And I can't wait till ups the jig with this lewd president. Next one is titled, Our President, the Surrender Monkey. We call him a surrender monkey, our Cheeto Donald Trump, our would-be president and flunky to every kind of junk, to hokum and to bunk. He's but a little punk, and what comes out his mouth, uncouth, is what comes out his rump. He is a champion class chest thumper. It's always a slam dunk. When words fly fast, invective pumper. But if push comes to shove, he's in the basement, love, not with the crowds above. Crybaby cowering like a tyke who stammers Uncle Unk. He is a blowhard and a coward, our Cheeto without balls. Like tepid milk when it has soured, he makes his presence felt. Or like a fart that's smelt enough to make you melt. He's Donald Trump, a man whose tan, like all his words, is false. His latest escapade was murdering a bunch of Venezuelan civilians out for a leisure cruise on their boat, I believe. Prove me wrong. This broadens the scope a little bit. This poem is titled and about the man who cast his vote for Trump. The man who cast his vote for Trump thus proved himself an outright chump, but also something like a frump, or like his idol, grossly plump. His life, alas, is in a slump, which makes him nasty and a grump, with morals like a cancerous lump, but to his idol's whims he'll jump. He'll sack the Capitol and dump his poop there, so to smear and clump it on the desks and walls for Trump who needs a diapered rump, who likes with prostitutes to pump, I mean it's what he likes to hump, whose greatest plans fall like a thump, his drained swamps like a backed up sump. He cast his vote for Donald Trump, but found a riddle like to stump. Meanwhile, the Constitution's crumpled, tossed aside, he's no mugwump. Trump said, if you make me dictator, I'll make the country something greater. That voter proved, like Trump, a traitor. So now Trump tells him later. So the poems, let's see when that one was written. The poems in this book are time-stamped with the date that they were published online at my channel. Well, I can't go back and find it, so let me just go on to the next one. This one is titled, Do Not Come to America, from March 27th. Do not come to America. They'll shoot you in the street, or disappear you without law for them to starve and beat, or send you to a labor camp down in El Salvador. There is an on but no off ramp, an in but no out door. This next poem is titled Surviving Project 2025. You may remember that everything that we are living through now was foretold and planned in a document titled Project 2025, which Donald Trump said, oh, I've never heard of it. Now he's implementing it. Surviving Project 2025. They called it Project 2025, a plan to make it harder to survive, a plan to stamp out empathy, compassion, and what all else impedes the fascist fashion. Tiny Tim Cratchit, see him hobble by, kick out his crutches, laugh and watch him lie. Ha ha, the boy can't get to where he wants. Let's make him cry with jibes and teasing taunts. Look, there's blind Homer with his unseeing eyes. Let's make him feel he's someone to despise. Let's hide his walking stick and in his path place some obstruction so that we can laugh. Ha ha, we call it Project 2025. You'll be in luck if you get out alive. A beautiful morning here in the Windy City, and thankfully not too windy. This one is titled The Pustule President. Adjudicated rapist and a 34-count felon, this was the man they voted into office. A man whose proven lies surpass the countin' and the tellin', a profligate in grifting while in slander not a novice. They saw him boldly laugh about the grabbing of a pussy and mock a man congenitally disabled. He liked to golf instead of working or watch I Love Lucy, and vowed future elections, if he won, would all be tabled. What did the folks who voted for him in the least expect? His devastation wrought fulfilled a promise, and even pushed the boundaries unexpected, how he wrecked achievement of his predecessors, Biden's and Obama's. But even reaching all the way back to the nation's founding, the pride of civil government unbroken, 250 years in its duration quite astounding, he toppled with a gangster's threats, though mainly left unspoken. Intimidation tactics neutralized many a coward, but many others were compromised. Their own corruption underlay the nightmare when it flowered, whereby the pustule president was not easily excised. Time will work its will, even if we Americans seem to be slow on the uptake. Well, this is a short one. Hungry is the gallows tree. Hungry is the gallows tree for Trump and all his coterie. Resist, resist. With each directive, the interloping fascists' first objective is to exhaust the citizens and peace of mind accost, to stir up fear and make himself omnipotent appear. It is not true. His overriding plan is to subdue. A sense of bleakness is fostered so as to conceal his weakness. Resist, resist. Do not submit beneath the fascist's fist. It is our will here in Chicago to make our protests non-violent when his ICE minions and so forth infiltrate to do their dastardly work. Speaking of whom, the next poem is titled Immigration and Customs Enforcement Deaths as we welcome ICE into our city. as we welcome ICE into our city. ICE holds so many in its maw, now lacking food and lacking water. When will the ice begin to thaw in hearts of every mother's son and daughter? Death makes his presence felt now in the overcrowded holding center. No matter how the fascists spin the news report, 'twas foreseen he must enter. ICE, in abeyance of the law, detains them in the multitudes. Illegally, detention raw for death's redeemless work as he intrudes. They have been guilty of no crime, nor even of a misdemeanor. These captives in confinements climb, conditions wherein could not be obscener. Imagination never saw such stifling suffocation cramped. Compassion it must overawe to see so many in that pit encamped. Abolish ICE, abolish ICE and let them free. Disband and get rid of the lackeys, henchmen and thugs such as they be, though smartly dressed in close-cut shirts and khakis. Well, this was April 3rd. Now we know they mask their faces all the time. They're afraid of having to pay for what they do, and they're afraid of the pricks of their own consciences. Oh, what more about ICE? This one is titled The Ice Man. I get up in the morning and perhaps have some corn flakes, then get my gear and pray to God that I have what it takes to do it conscientiously, this job that I get paid for, though I would never have predicted it's what I was made for. I have to don a mask because our faces need concealing, as on the street it's other person's liberty we're stealing. We sneak behind a girl, or as we're supposed to say, young woman, while she is minding her own stuff, as you may be assuming. This one's a student. It may be she'll have a test tomorrow, but she will never see it, though she beg or cheat or borrow. She's learning bitter lessons in the grander school of life, that there are guys like me alive, although I have a wife, who don't care if her future is the thing we have destroyed. ICE agent justice gets you. It's not easy to avoid a permanent exile from every person that you've known, nor will they know about you or wherever you have gone. What happens when we've disappeared you is not our concern, and loss of our due process rights may come for us in turn, but right now we are needed and the paycheck's mighty fine, and it's not ours to worry about what happens down the line. They'll never see their girl again, but what is that to me? She was a foreigner inside the country of the free, or maybe she was born here, but how would we ever know? Our business isn't whence she came, nor where she has to go. I think trafficking has been proven in some cases already. That was April 4th. So, when this book was written, it did not well foresee the coming of the National Guard and the military against us. Oh, let us talk about the Trump and Epstein axis. Or is it Epstein? I never know how to say it. The Trump and Epstein partnership, that's Donald and that's Jeffrey, held firmly as a vice's grip, their friendship's soft breeze, zephyry. But it was largely based upon the trafficking of females, an exploitation mostly done to benefit the free males. The girls within their clutches were not seldom underage. he liked to grab and fondle her without much badinage, the man entrapping such a girl through plots and schemes and pressure, forcibly snatching of that pearl by rape so to access her. It's not to say that exploitation can't happen either way, but better mutual celebration, or be it straight or gay, than gotten by manipulation. That's all I have to say. Well, apparently the MAGA cohort can't get a girl another way. And, you know, by all accounts of Grindr going down twice when they held their party convention, it's not entirely what they want regardless. Christian MAGA men. Another short one. This one is titled The Bankrupt. I bankrupt 6 casinos and my creditors got angry. I thought they'd run me out of town upon a rail or hang me. Instead, I went to Washington to be the president, where I'm bankrupting the country for $1, take 1 cent. All of this military fal-de-rah is costing a pretty penny, is it not? Meanwhile, the Republicans are advising everybody that we have a mental health crisis in this country. Who has been eliminating mental health programs for the past 40 years? The Republican Party. This one is titled The Diaper Changer. Nobody wants to have the job of changing Donnie's diaper. It's kind of gross, glob after glob, then he starts getting hyper. It's hard to get the shit unstuck, and he keeps on complaining. Out of his mouth comes so much muck, at both ends no retaining. Coming up upon the end, I don't want to overburden you. Followers of my channel will know that I have spent some time in China, and this poem touches upon our relations with that great and long-lasting nation. It is titled, I Would Not Try to Bully China. With all my heart, I most abhor the person of the bully, his tactics, his objectives, and his boastings, all which sully the social compact, though he break it partially or fully. No social type in my esteem be deemed as more repugnant than such a one who wants no more than does another thug want, the crassest sort of booty which the dull, stupid, and smug want. He likes to make folks give up things by stepping on their toes, but stirred up animosity from such encounters flows. And should the chance arise, there'll be a fist across the nose. My country, now beneath dictatorship of such a one, attempts to play the bully. See him bluster, dirk, and done. But while it's true that bully boys tend not to have much fun, there's other factors as may merit deeper contemplation. A behemoth may gain the day that targets a small nation, but bigger adversaries best be spared the provocation. Of all the countries in the world, the last I'd choose is China, to try to victimize, intimidate, and no maligner dare intimate that China threatened will be the decliner. It's better to have friends instead of foes along the road. It's silly to antagonize one from whom nothing's owed, and dumb to twist arms, not supposing something will explode. Folks love to see it when the bully boy gets taken down a peg or more. America, you reap what you have sown. So when you lie there in a sprawl, don't let me hear you moan. Beautiful day here in the lovely and free city of Chicago. This one is titled The MAGA Crew Do Not Like Verse. MAGA, of course, an acronym for Make America Great Again, that crew. The MAGA crew do not like verse. They just like honey boo-boo. Folks they despise, they call diverse. Mostly like others to coerce. And when they get inside, what's worse, they smear things with their doo-doo. They got into the Capitol and sought to hang Mike Pence. But once inside, they crapped it all, smeared turds on every chair and wall, hoping democracy would fall, brought down by insolence. Insolently democracy they label something foo-foo. And Jesus Christ they also see a cloak to hide their villainy. Gospel and Bill of Rights agree they've both been smeared by poo-poo. So I think that our democracy is worth preserving or reinstating, as it were. But those responsible for this fascist subjugation of the body politic, as yet incomplete, deserve to face the music. This poem talks about one such member of the administration. Many others receive their due in this book. Stephen Iago Miller. The plane was set to fly away, but had not taken off when the court order came to say, "Do not depart, it's not okay, and planes in flight do not delay, but turn round and come back to stay immediately." Cough, cough. From someplace in the rear was heard a mildly hacking sound to indicate one disconcurred, the court's directive deemed absurd, and contra court course he preferred. To disregard he gave the word, as to the court not bound. The person who assumed control, though this as yet is hearsay, was Machiavelli in his soul, nor cared he from how dark a hole his lust for power secret stole. For he stayed steadfast on his goal, which he adhered to fiercely. You know the man and what he does, a sly manipulator, who operates but makes no fuss about the right and wrong, because insidious triumphs happen thus. Stephen Iago Miller was the man and is a traitor, as is anybody working for this regime and doing its bidding to subvert our democracy. So, before I go, let me just close with something I wrote yesterday pertaining to the death of Palestinian poet Omar Harb. As I dislike fascism, so I dislike and hate genocide. No panegyric this for Omar Harb, but merely a lament in simple form for one deceased beneath misfortune's barb, though it was not an accidental storm that brought the poet to this pass, but rather heinous premeditation we examine. A people left without the means to gather its sustenance, now plunged into deep famine. Poet, so you beside your people die, beset upon by forces which surpass all righteous contemplation, villainy execrable, which no compassion has. I call upon an end to genocide, for which you and your family have died. So, closing here. Give you a clearer view of the bean. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel. You can find other videos posted there. Let's abolish ICE. Let's reverse the course of this terrible program that Donald Trump and his coterie is trying to put in place. Hungry is the gallows tree for Trump and all his coterie. Remember that and see that justice is enforced. Thank you.